In previous videos, an ideology was defined as degenerate if the people who follow it have, on average, fewer than 2 biological children per person. Feminism is one of those ideologies that results in the partial or complete breakdown in the instinct to have children and reproduce. Any society that does not have children will die almost immediately, and a society that has only 1 child per person will fail after a few generations. If we start with 1 million feminists, and each has only 1 child, then after 1 generation there will only be 500,000. After 2 generations, only 250,000. After 3, only 125,000. And after 4 generations, only 63,000. Shortly after this, they will blend into the surrounding cultures and disappear. Some will argue that the ideology of feminism can be bolstered by recruiting new members from surrounding populations of people that are not being plagued by degeneracy. But that ultimately does not work, as will be shown in this video and future videos. However, many people are not convinced by quoting numbers or statistics, so perhaps a better way to demonstrate that feminism cannot survive, since it discourages biological children, is to realize that feminism has destroyed itself before. I will tell you the story about the feminists from the 1800s who died because they thought that children were less important than their work. At the end of this video, we will look at how modern feminists are similar to the feminists from the 1800s, and how they are also destined to die out. The story I will tell you ends in quiet death, but that is not how it began. This group, known as the Shakers, were not hateful or unintelligent. To be truthful, they were smart, talented, kind, thrifty, spiritual, and beloved by most people who knew them. In short, the Shakers were beautiful. They began in the mid-1700s in northern England, and then moved to colonial America in 1774. Their leader was a woman named Mother Ann Lee, who taught that God was equally male and female. She preached that Christ came first as the man Jesus, and then came a second time as a woman, Ann Lee. The Shakers were feminists, and they believed in the complete equality of the sexes. Their communities were led by 2 male elders and 2 female elders. They worshipped with ecstatic song and dance that glorified God. They were respected by the outside world for the quality furniture that they crafted, their modern farming methods, their quality herbs, and their honesty in business. However, the Shakers believed that sexual intercourse was impure and unions between men and women were forbidden. The Shakers were completely celibate and had no biological children of their own. They attempted to increase their numbers by indenture and adoption of children. They built schools to indoctrinate these children into the Shaker beliefs, but too many of the children rejected the Shakers' teachings, and the children left when they became adults. As the years went on, the Shakers grew older and grayer until they diminished and faded away. Today, the Shakers are perhaps best remembered by their worship song, Simple Gifts, which today is often used by politicians to project a mood of honest, simple dedication to an ideology. Feminists today share much in common with the Shakers. They believe in the equality of the sexes, but they also believe that sexual intercourse between men and women is to be avoided. They are convinced that biological children will prevent them from achieving their lofty goals. For the Shakers, the goal was heaven, while for modern feminists, the goal is a career and status. In vain, they adopt children that are not biologically theirs, and who will reject them when they reach adulthood. Any group that does not have 2 biological children per person is degenerate, and will be deemed by Mother Nature as unfit, and will be eliminated through the process of evolution. The story of the Shakers is sad, but in a way it is continuing, because feminists and other groups today are repeating their tragic mistakes. If we look at birth rate statistics, we can see that much that we believe to be good and beautiful around us will be lost, unless we choose to act. The Shakers were in many ways successful, and they should have continued. But their worldview did not embrace biological children. We still have a choice. We can choose to live differently. Do you want 2 children? Do all of your best friends each want 2 or more biological children? If the answer is no, then you most likely belong to a degenerate society, and the way of life that you love will follow the Shakers and disappear.
When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we will not be ashamed, to turn